A 2023 second quarter federal account statutory revenue allocations report has shown that the 36 states in the Federation received about 1.51 trillion naira, or 34.5% of the total 4.37 trillion naira shared by the three tiers of government between January and June of 2023. The report by the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, also known as NATI, showed that the states received about 817.79 billion naira from the 2.32 trillion total distributable allocation in the first quarter and 688.2 billion naira of the 2.04 trillion allocation in the second quarter. The report also showed that a 12% decline in the overall allocation in the second quarter resulted in a 15.8% reduction in the share to the states in the first quarter from 817.8 billion naira to 688.2 billion naira. Arise analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to discuss the NATI's report and assess the impact of the fiscal state of the subnationals on the welfare of the people. Good to have you on Newsday, Mr. Sobowale. Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure being here as usual.
It's a pleasure to have you as always. What are your key takeaways from this report?
Well, it's economic planning now. That is what is needed. The NIT report, NIT is Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. So I will assume all these revenues are oil-based because you are a monoproduct economy. But then, like we spoke about NIT the other time, there is need for us to expand and exploit our mineral base. So it is that I will address. And I will look at it internationally and locally. You have some African countries who don't have oil, like South Africa, Zambia, Democratic Republic of Congo. So they have experience in mineral exploration and using mineral exploitation and refining and all that to improve the economy. You can borrow a leaf or two from those. You see, there are other alternatives internationally. One is that of the US right now, which it took to Asia, Partnership for Investment and Infrastructure. You see, the US, we spoke about semiconductors the other time. You know what the US is doing now to counter China? Because China has the largest source for it, but the US has the technology. China and the US, they are competing for so many things. They have trade wars going on. So the US now, when Biden went to Vietnam, the old enemy that defeated America, so that shows you that in international relations, there are no permanent enemies or permanent interests. Now, the US is trying to build semiconductor industry in Vietnam. And it went there with high-tech companies, you get me? Like Microsoft, those who are involved in making all these things you get from, so that they will establish an industry in Vietnam. Some people even complain that they don't have enough engineers. They offer to train the engineers. You can look for something like that. Because if you look at the result sheet on financial management of the states, you see that most of even the increased revenue they had, most of it was spent on debt.
Yep. Yes.
Most of it was. So if you learn from the African countries, if we borrow from partnership that will make the extraction happen on our own territory, because if you do like in our oil now, you see we have oil, we explore oil, but we built refineries to refine it and make it usable, but people sabotage that. So we still have to export it and bring out the If the refineries are working, that will be full in employment.
Yes. That
will add to our value chain. But obviously some people don't want that to function. That's why we should not allow that to happen with this mineral exploitation. But you see, I will give you the Vietnam example. There's even another example. The US and the West, the EU, through World Bank. They've been giving us loans. The sooner we run away from that, the better. Because we have not been able to make the conditionalities, and I can bet that is what is saddening the foreign debts. But those states, they say they have, that is what is sadly there. So, the 90 report, if you look at it now, it's not as if 90 was just established. But it's because we are in hard times now. They say sweet are the uses of adversity.
All right.
Which is like the toad, ugly and venomous, versus precious jewel. That's Shakespeare. You get me? So we must cut our coat according to our cloth. That's the first thing I would say.
All right, then.
So I'd like.
And you know, just like you said, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, did say that we cannot continue to run this budget on debt. So you know, when it comes to dynamics, we are on track with that. And you know, the Native report reveals that the 36 states received 1.51 trillion naira in statutory revenue. And despite the decline in overall allocation in the second quarter, it still received more than the federal government, especially when we're looking at the 13% derivation revenue that was factored in. When we look at the fiscal dynamics between the states and the federal government, don't you think that this is a low ball, so to speak?
That's the political side of the equation. You run a federation. See, I think I've given an example here. In some federations, like Germany, city-state of Hamburg, it doesn't take money from the coffer because it has oil, it has manufacturing and all that. So it gives back. If this, okay, like our oil states, no? Where you have oil, like the three that got the something,
allocation.
Delta, Akwa, Ibom, and Rivers. They can improve their environment more. But if you look at them, I will give a political example now. Look at my friend Wiki. He's so powerful. It's because of these resources. These resources on the ground. It's for them to use it to improve welfare. They use it to build political influence across the states and across Nigeria. So that mindset has to shift. And maybe 90, although I know 90 is not a local or Nigerian initiative, that should be a monitoring aside from 90. Because nobody listened to 90 before until this removal of fuel subsidy. And then the FAAC people started saying that, no, you should not go with government to go and celebrate opening of bridge, and that it is your money. Follow the money and find out what they do with your money. So transparency, accountability, they are always needed. You don't need to throw them to the backyard, which is invariably what is happening in our political management. Absolutely. Mr.
Sobowale, I have so many more questions for you, but unfortunately we're told that we've run out of time. But we definitely look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you so much for your rich analysis as always. Arise News analyst, Mr. Dayo Sobowale. Thank you.